Welcome to the Man to Man Sportscast. This is Brad.
And I'm Ethan, and this week we are going to be recapping week 4. A lot of madness this week, and we're going to start off with our top 10 teams because there's been some big changes in our top 10 teams.
Oh, yeah. Top 10 trending dogs. We'll start with number 10. So we have a new top 10. We have some teams dropping out. We'll get to that later. But coming in at number 10, dropping 2 spots from last week is the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, first loss of the season against probably the best team they've played all season.
Yeah. Colts still look like a good team, but their weaknesses showed in this game.
For sure. And so we move on to our number 9 team, being the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, first time on the list with a big win over San Francisco.
Yeah, it was a really good game. San Francisco tried their best with the injured team that they had, but they just couldn't get it done.
Absolutely. Coming in at number 8, coming up 2 spots, Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think there's no surprise here.
Yeah, man, he gets his number 1 receiver back, and the offense is back to what it was, a really good team.
That's absolutely right.
And so we move on to our number 7 team in the same division, the LA Chargers.
Yeah, dropping 4 spots this week with a tough loss to the Giants.
Yeah, you can't lose that game. It's one that's supposed to be dubbed on the calendar.
That's right. And number 6, first time on the list, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They look really good. All around, offense, defense, they look unstoppable. Their one loss coming in like a special teams weird game.
Yeah, they've gotten better and better each week, it seems, as this team starts to gel and really starting to look like a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, exactly. And coming in at number 5 with a huge up in our standing is the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, moving up 4 spots, really the last 3 weeks have looked outstanding.
Yeah, it's a really good offense, a really good team all around. I'm looking forward to what they do for the season.
Absolutely. Number 4, standing pat from last week, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You can't fault them for losing such a close game with an injured team. Stay at 4.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Tampa Bay is their luck run out against a team that is really lucky right now. And, it's still a very good football team.
We move on to our number 3 team, the LA Rams.
That's right, moving up 2 spots, getting back on track, really looking like one of the top 3 teams in the league right now.
Their only loss coming to the number 1 team, beating a lot of good teams in the process.
That's right. Standing pat at number 2, the Buffalo Bills still looking like Super Bowl contenders.
I mean, they look tough to beat. The only team that looks tougher to beat is our number 1 team, the Philadelphia Eagles, of course.
Yes, pulling out another win. This team just continues to find ways to win football games.
Yeah, against good teams nonetheless.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and they're both right now.
They're good and lucky, yep.
Yeah. And dropping off the list this week, we had 3 teams. The Niners, with a tough loss, a lot of injuries though.
It's really just the injuries that had us drop them off this list. And once they get healthy, they're right back in this top 10.
Yeah, the Green Bay Packers got caught kissing their sister against the Cowboys.
A tie, but they still look good. Just a tough schedule off rip, and they're the youngest team in the league, so you have a lot to look forward to if you're a Green Bay fan for sure.
Yeah, they'll be back on the list. I'm almost positive. And then really, it's the Baltimore Ravens.
They just don't look like the same team this year. I don't know.
Yeah, and Lamar came up limping a little bit last week to see how that progresses. See if he can come back healthy this next week.
Yeah, he just seems like he feels like he needs to put the team on his back because his defense isn't playing as well. And if you look at his career stats, when his defense doesn't play well, he doesn't play well.
That's exactly right. So that's the top 10 trending dogs. Now on to our Dog or Doug segment. The New York Jets defense.
They've been a dud. I mean, this Dolphins offense didn't look too good until they went up against them.
Yeah, it's really surprising me. They were pretty daggone good last year. And in the week 1 against the Steelers, they looked pretty good. But perhaps that was more the Steelers, playing really together for the first time versus the Jets defense being good.
Yeah, it's just kind of that first week. Anything can happen in the first week. So they've just been shown who they are in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I hate to say it, but I think that Jets defense is a dud.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, moving on. Wide receiver George Pickens.
George Pickens is a dog, man. C.D. Lamb gives him his props. Everyone in the league gives him his props. The only people who doesn't give him his props is the media. For some reason.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like the old days with Barry Bonds. No one liked him, but he was the best player in baseball.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best player is not the most likable, and that's okay.
Yeah, he shows his talent.
That's right. So shout out to George Pickens. Number three. Let's go with the Washington defense.
Dud. They are.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed a flash in week 1 against a really bad offense, but when they play even half decent offenses, they make them look like all stars.
Yeah, honestly, reminiscent of the Cowboys of yesteryear, the last couple of years, I should say, where they do really good against bad teams, but against good teams, they don't look very good at all. And I wouldn't put the Falcons as a really good team either. But they needed the defense to show up and play hard with the backup quarterback, and they did not deliver.
Yep.
So a dud. All right, number 4, Trevor Lawrence, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think he's a dog. He's not putting up numbers, but he's doing what his team needs.
Exactly. He's coming into his own. He's spreading the ball around like we talked about last week, and he's finding ways to win football games. I think he's finally coming to his own. I think he's finally a dog.
It's crazy what a good coaching staff can do. It's the first one he's had in the NFL. He had one in high school when he went undefeated. He had one in college when he went undefeated. And he finally has a good one, and he's playing really well.
I agree. All right, the next one up, quarterback, Geno Smith.
Oh, he's a dud. Turnover machine. He's just – the only game he didn't have a turnover was against that Washington defense.
Yeah, and he did not look good in that game either. Really, other than a couple breakdowns in coverage.
Yeah, when Washington was already in such a league, so they were playing, falling back.
Yeah, they had backups in, and that's the only time he's really looked competent. It's been a rough season for Geno this year.
It has.
All right, running back, Kenneth Gainwell. Big week this week.
Yeah, breakout performance. He's always been a dud. He's I think the best running back that the Steelers got right now. I mean, he proved it last week. But I'm gonna say a dud until he proves me otherwise.
I would agree with that. He's always been that guy that showed flashes, but until he can do it on a weekly basis.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, and we're going to end it up with a high note. In my book, running back with an upset win this week, Cam Scatterboo.
Oh yeah, he's a dog. He's really good. The team loves him. I love him.
Yeah, this dude is a throwback football player. He reminds me a lot of Mike Alstott, and I think he is fun to watch, and he is a dog to the end. So that's our dog or dud segment. On to the recap.
Yeah, we have our Week 4 recap. It was a good week of football, and we're starting off the Thursday night game, Seattle at Arizona. Seattle taking that one 23-20 in a controversial win.
Controversial win. I think we both picked Seattle in that game.
We did.
I think Seattle through and through is a better team. But
Yeah.
The Cardinals, they're right there.
Yeah, they. The reason why it's controversial is the kickoff rules. They just kicked it like a yard short of the landing zone, and they got a penalty. And Seattle had an easy drive to go kick a field goal and win that game.
Yeah, very tough break for the Cardinals, really.
Yeah, I still think Seattle scores even if he lands in the landing zone. And Jigba had a 30-yard catch. He had the wherewithal to get out of bounds. That's a good team. They would have scored anyway, so if you're crying, you just need to get over it.
Yeah, I really like this Seattle team. They're in a tough division.
They are. As it shows in our standings down here, we have 3 3-1 teams and a 2-2 team.
Yeah. Probably the best. So far, they've been the best division in football. Yeah. We'll see how that plays out through the rest of the year.
Yeah, and so we'll move on to our next game, a game in Dublin, Ireland. We got Minnesota at Pittsburgh, but really Dublin, and Pittsburgh taking that one 24-21. Kind of fake close. Minnesota had a chance to win at the end of the game, but Pittsburgh really dominated that game.
Yeah, Pittsburgh owned it. Minnesota's missing a starting quarterback.
They are that.
Probably would really like to have Kirk Cousins back about right now. But, Minnesota's still a good team. They're still going to win some football games, but Pittsburgh's a better team.
Yeah, I agree. Like we talked about Canewell breaking out. Like Pittsburgh's just finding ways to win. Aaron Rodgers making good passes to DK. DK with a 70-yard run for a
Yeah.
touchdown. He's That's just a good offense, and the defense showed out too.
Yeah, I think this is really DK. DK's been good, but I think this is his breakout season.
Yeah,
I look for him to just get better and better. Aaron Rodgers is really starting to rely on him.
yeah,
I think this could be his best year.
yeah. We know what happens to a receiver when Aaron relies on you. When he trusts you, and you prove that his trust is worth it, he will keep throwing you that ball, and he always makes a good combination with the number one receiver.
Yeah, so looking up for the Steelers fans.
Yeah, they look the best that they've looked in years. Maybe they can finally get that playoff one we talked about earlier in the season.
I hope so.
Me too. And so we move on to our next game. A huge upset. Chargers at New York Giants. Jackson Dart's first game played, and they win at 21-18.
Yeah, this game really surprised the heck out of me.
Yeah.
I thought the Chargers were, they looked like world beaters, top 5 team.
Yeah.
And the Giants had been kind of reeling. I really didn't think it was Russell Wilson's fault, but when watching this game, sometimes it's not all about the talent, it's what the team believes in. They clearly believe in Jackson Dart.
Where Jackson Dart is real. Jackson Dart's first drive, I mean, he's also talented. First drive, rushes in for a touchdown, and he didn't slow down. That's a great way to start off your confidence. Like we said last week, it was hard to gain your confidence against the Chargers defense. He did it against a Chargers defense.
He did what he had to do. The Giants rallied around him and played well. Their defense looked good, and it's trending up for the Giants.
Trending up, but also down, losing their star player and Malik Neighbors out for
Yeah.
the season, which is a tough loss.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. That's a really tough break, and it really changes this wide receiver room.
Wandell being their number one now.
Yeah, Wandell and Slayton, they're not going to be able to carry the weight the Neighbors carries, and see how the rookie handles it. See if he can find him a new prime target.
Yeah, they're going to be relying on Cam, our guy, a lot more, I think.
That's right.
Which I like that. A blowout in Houston. Tennessee at Houston. Houston taking that one 26-0.
Yeah, getting the shutout. Man, the Titans are reeling right now. I think they finally done it. I think they finally ruined Cam Ward's confidence. And the lack of weapons are really starting to show there. The lack of confidence in the coaching staff starting to show.
Yeah.
And, the Texans themselves have been reeling. They get off the schneid here. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm glad for Houston to finally win a game. Yeah, and so we'll move on to our next game. Washington at Atlanta. Atlanta taking this one 34-27. And it looks to be a closer game than it was.
Yeah, Atlanta had control of the game from the kickoff, really. They never looked back. This Washington defense, as we talked about earlier, they could not stop Atlanta. They got fortunate with one turnover. And that was really just an errant throw by Michael Penix, who otherwise played a pretty solid football game.
Yeah, Penix throwing for over 300 yards.
Yeah, the star of the show, though, was Bijan Robinson. I mean, he really is the difference maker on this offense.
Yeah, Bijan's really good, and nothing to take from him. I think he's a top 5 running back in the league. They showed Washington's biggest weakness, which is the same weakness they had last year, which is outside running. And so they just took advantage of that, kept running zone plays to the outside or tosses to the outside, and it was 3 yards minimum every time they did it.
Yeah, they really relied on that spread, the stretch run, and Bijan showed his patience. He just waited for the hole and hit it. Overall, Washington done a pretty good job holding him back in the run game, but they couldn't stop him when they had to. And then, of course, he had the one big play with the reception that Bobby Wagner had no business trying to cover.
Yeah, we should not be relying on Bobby Wagner to be guarding the number one target for the other team. Atlanta continues to show their weakness, which is throwing over the middle of the field.
Yeah.
The one interception Penix had was in between the numbers, even though it wasn't, middle of the field. It was in between the numbers, which is Michael Penix's biggest weakness.
Yeah, but they were able to take advantage of Washington's weaknesses. Drake London had a big game. He really took a lot of liberties with Marshawn Lattimore, and it's a rough game for Washington. Atlanta really rebounded after a rough game week before.
Yeah, exactly. Really good rebound game for Atlanta, taking nothing away from them. They needed this one. Let's see if they keep it up.
That's right.
And so we move on to our next game, New Orleans at Buffalo. Buffalo taking this one 31-19.
Yeah, New Orleans actually playing better than I thought they would in this game. But Buffalo had control over it the whole time. No surprise here.
Yeah, Josh Allen, as we talked about, 4-0. No one can stop him right now.
Yeah, almost an extra bye week for Buffalo.
Basically. And we'll move on to the next game, probably game of the week, Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Philadelphia taking this one 31-25. Tampa Bay fumbling late, and that was the game changer.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's luck finally run out. Baker had a solid game.
He did all he could.
Yeah, Tampa showed they belonged with the big boys.
Yes.
But Eagles showed they are still the big boy of the league.
Yeah, I think if Mike Evans is in that game, it's a different ending. I think Tampa Bay wins that one. Baker doing what he does best on a third down. He gets hit in the backfield. He still gets the first down.
Yeah, that's Baker doing Baker things, man.
I love to see it week in and week out. Last play of the game being a safety for Tampa Bay. An interesting ending.
Yeah. Tampa really showing that they belong playing with the big boys.
Exactly.
Eagles showing that they are the big boys of the league still. But it's a great football game.
Yeah, even though they gave up 25 points, the Eagles defense started their show again. Yeah,
this Eagles defense, lost a lot of pieces, and it showed in week 1. But since they've gelled, and Eagles look like they're Super Bowl bound again.
And so we move on to our next game, Cleveland at Detroit. Detroit taking this one 34-10.
Yeah, Detroit looked terrible week 1, but since then they've really, looked explosive on offense, and this week the defense looked good as well.
Yeah, they're explosive on offense. Last 3 weeks since the loss to Green Bay, they have not scored under 30 points, and in one of those games they scored 50. Offense looks unstoppable right now. It's really good.
Yeah, Goff is doing the same thing he did last year. That running game is still premier. Amon-Ra St. Brown still a premier receiver. They're just clicking on all cylinders right now.
Yes, they are. Jahmyr Gibbs with a good touchdown, just like you said, run game, all-around offensive game, top tier.
I agree, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they do in their Packers rematch and when they play, high-powered offenses like Washington again.
Yeah, hopefully Jaden's back for that game, and I think that'll be a really good game in the future.
I do too. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. A game that was another blowout. Carolina at New England. New England taking this one 42-13. Carolina having to bench all their players early. It was just a blowout from the start. Well, not from the start. Carolina started 6-0.
Yeah.
And then they let up 42 unanswered points.
The Panthers have burned me all year. If I pick them, they lose. If I don't pick them, they get the one win.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what this team's doing.
I don't know. I think they're really just an at-home team. They're 3 losses on the road. They're 1 win at home.
It could be it. Maybe Bryce is more comfortable playing at home, but this is not a good football team.
No, I agree. So we move on to our next game, Jacksonville at San Francisco. Jacksonville taking this one, 26-21.
Yeah, I picked the Niners at home, and it was come down to the end, but Jacksonville found a way to win the football game. This is a game of attrition. The 49ers aren't healthy right now. Jacksonville is, and I think that was the difference of the football game.
Yeah, Travis Etienne having another big game. The defense getting more turnovers. Jacksonville's defense leading the league this year in turnovers. 13 turnovers in 4 games, averaging over 3 turnovers a game.
It's very impressive. I don't know how long they can keep that up, but it's certainly an improvement over last year's terrible defense. And I really like the combination of Tootin and Etienne in the backfield. This Jaguars team is fun to watch.
Yeah, I think they can keep up this turnovers. Maybe not the same rate of 3 per game, but I still think they get at least a turnover per game. They did go up against Houston and Carolina, which are easy turnovers, but a team like San Francisco doesn't turn the ball over much, and they still got 3 turnovers.
Yeah, very impressive. And right now, defense a lot of times is all about confidence, and this team is rolling with it. They're like rabid dogs looking for that turnover, chomping at the bit.
Yeah, like I said earlier, what a coaching staff can do to them.
Yeah.
They brought in Tampa Bay, the offensive coordinator last year, which he was putting up 30 points games a week. He comes to Jacksonville and just does just as good of a job. Brings in a defensive coordinator he knows he can trust, and he knows talent when he sees it, I guess.
Yeah, this AFC South is a tremendously improved division this year. It's going to, I think, come down to the wire, who wins it. But I like the Jaguars.
Yeah, it's crazy to think they had the number 2 pick last year. And usually when you have a top 2 pick and you go from a top 2 pick to 3-1 the next season, it's your number 2 pick that's the reason why you've gotten better. This is just a special case where Travis Hunter's doing what he needs to do, but he's not the star player of the team. It's the coaching staff.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. Trevor Lawrence is coming to his own because of the staff. He finally has weapons,
Yeah,
and I'm just really impressed with what they're doing in Jacksonville.
I agree. It's a really good team. That's why they made it to our top 10 this week.
That's right.
Yeah, we move on to our next game. Indianapolis at LA Rams, and the Rams taking this one 27-20 in a good game like we talked about.
Yeah, hard fought game. Me and you sat in Atlanta and watched this one,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of fun. Rams just were the better team at the end of the day, but the Colts, man, they played. They showed their weaknesses, but they showed their strengths in this game too, and they showed that they're not just a pushover football team that got lucky.
Yeah, I like to see that Daniel Jones is starting to trust his number 1 receiver, Michael Pittman. He's getting better and better each week. Jonathan Taylor still putting up good numbers,
Yeah.
even against this Rams defense. Rams defense showed out, even with a couple of injuries. Jared Verse taking advantage of going up against Daniel Jones, getting a couple sacks.
Yeah, that Verse and Young tandem on that defense is special.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I really like the Rams. That's why we moved them into our top 3 this week. Stafford still looks like a Hall of Fame quarterback. Um, they've got Puka, who is just balling out, and that defense is, like I said, is special. But shout out to the Colts. Jonathan Taylor really played well. Danny Dimes played well. Their defense just could not contain the Rams.
Yeah, when they needed to at the end of the game, they couldn't. Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, a huge play for a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's like you said, Puka's playing really well. I think it was really smart for Sean McVay to text up Devontae Adams, be like, "Hey, isn't it much nicer in LA than it is in New York? Why don't you come on down?" He does. He's playing just good. It was good to get Stafford, that veteran receiver, to be an easy target on third down situations.
Yeah, three really good receivers who are playing well together, and then you got Williams in the backfield. It's a tough team.
It's a tough team to beat. I thought coming into the season, AFC was going to be the teams to beat. So far, the NFC is showing that they're the teams to beat.
I mean, it really is surprising, but we thought these 3 teams would be good at the beginning of the year. The 3 teams being the Eagles, the Bucks, and the Rams, and they are. They're just proving us right on that. The AFC needs to catch up.
They do. And so we'll move on to our next game, an AFC matchup. Baltimore at Kansas City. Kansas City taking this one 37-20. Really good job by Kansas City, showing that they are still the big dogs when they're healthy.
Yeah, we had both these teams tied at number 10 to see who would emerge.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be Baltimore. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Kansas City looked like Kansas City from last year. And like we said earlier, Baltimore, it seems like something is wrong. Kansas City took advantage of that and looked like they were back in form, and look out Chargers.
Yeah, it's still that thing with like Baltimore, like they can't beat the good teams. 1 win against Cleveland earlier this year, 3 losses against the teams they need to beat: Buffalo, Detroit, Kansas City.
Yeah, Baltimore really, we thought they would take a step forward this year. So far, they have not been able to do that. They've got some lighter games on the schedule. I'm sure they will take advantage of those.
Yes.
But they've got to figure out how to beat these premier teams.
Yeah, they really need to solve the defensive issues. Like we said earlier, Lamar feels like he needs to put the team on his back. He really needs to trust his other weapons on offense. Derrick Henry, I think they need to get him the ball more, even though he was fumbling at the beginning of the year. He was itching on the bench, like, give me the ball, coach.
Yeah. Henry he's a warrior. He wants that ball every time. He wants it. Him and Lamar both want that ball in their hands.
Exactly.
And you want players like that.
Yes.
I say give it to him. Yeah, see, I mean, at this point, what do you have to lose?
Yeah, they've tried a couple things. They've tried to give it to Derrick Henry. He does well. You try to give it to Lamar, and he gets stressed out. He's on the field a lot because the defense is letting up points early.
Yeah, this defense is reeling right now. that's really been the surprise for me is I thought the Jets and the Ravens would have premier defenses this year, and they do not.
No. So we move on to our next game, Chicago at Las Vegas. Chicago winning this one 25-24. It looks like Genty's back, but the Vegas offense still couldn't get it done. Geno, turnover. Caleb doing what he needed to do. He threw for 200 yards and had a good game, good enough to get them that 1-point victory.
Yeah, he looked frustrated at times, but at the end of the day, he showed some maturity and he pulled this game out. On the other hand, Genty had a rock star of a football game. We knew he wasn't the problem. This proves that they really got to figure out the turnover problem. Geno is turning the ball over at a pretty high clip right now, and at this point, they've got no shot at winning ball games like that.
Yeah, it's understandable. Caleb Williams getting frustrated with Max Crosby getting to his head, as we talked about. He can do that to a guy.
Yeah.
It was good for him to calm down a little bit. And Ben Johnson throwing out a couple of trick plays again. Yeah. Fun to watch. The Vegas defense needs to step up all around, though. One thing with Genty and why he performed better this week, Pete Carroll finally letting Genty go back to the stance he used to take in college. And that was a big factor. He likes to stand up straight off the ball so he doesn't give away where he's going to be going. And that was a big part of it. Without the defense being able to tell where he's going, he got to go back to what he's comfortable with, and he showed.
Yeah, a big part of being a running back and a quarterback is being comfortable. And, both these guys showed, as in Caleb Williams and Ashton Genty, as they get more comfortable and they're coming to their own maturity and really, showing that they can be performers in this league.
Yeah, I like to see the young guys show their talent. I'm glad they showed that they can get it done. It's very enlightening.
Yeah, the NFC North is another division that looks like it's going to be tight, and anybody could win it.
So we'll move on to our next game, Green Bay at Dallas, 40-40 tie ball game.
Yeah, Dallas, I'm going to give them their props. They played a good ball game. They put up 40 points against what I thought was a good defense.
Well, they showed it all season, and then finally someone comes in and shows maybe some of their weaknesses. I think part of that is that they know Micah. They knew that Micah only got one sack and they were at a press conference after the game. Dak said, "I don't think he got me one time." They said they did give him a sack, and it was because he got tackled at the line of scrimmage, so it was not any yards lost, but still counted as a sack.
Yeah, and Dak, I had him as a bust for this week, and he was the opposite of that. He really showed out, looked like the Dak of old, like a Pro Bowl quarterback, and maybe the Cowboys knew more than what we thought they knew.
Yeah, Dallas, the defense still needs work, though, letting up 40 points. It was against Green Bay, but Jordan Love just kept dotting them up. They give it to Josh Jacobs. Tucker Kraft had a pretty good game. A good game all around by Green Bay and Dallas. That's why it ended up in a tie.
Yeah, defense was atrocious in this game for both sides of the ball, but both quarterbacks really played great. And, I'd like to say it's a fun game to watch, but for me it wasn't.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun game to watch. I didn't watch overtime, though. I thought Green Bay would take it, but Dallas showed me wrong. They both just kicked field goals and ended up being a tie. As George Peckton said after the game, I didn't even know that could happen. He's never been a part of a tie before. He thought that we went to another quarter. It was like double overtime too, but no, not anymore. It's a tie.
Yeah, and so, we'll see if Dallas can build on this and make a push for the NFC East. On the flip side of that, Packers need to figure it out quick because they've had two poor performances in a row.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's poor performances. I'd just say it's really good performances by the other team. Dallas, again, like I said, I think they just knew the weaknesses of Green Bay, and Cleveland, that defense, as we talked about, is really good. And like we talked about last week, Green Bay just wasn't prepared for Cleveland to be that good.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement at the end of the day. When teams go in, these are all pro teams. There is a lot of parity in the NFL. That's why you see teams lose 30-0 one week and then win big the next week. It's just really who has the better game plan and who can execute the game plan, in that next coming week. And so this week, Dallas had the better game plan, and Green Bay was able to contain it to somewhat degree, and these were equal teams.
They had a high-scoring game, fun to watch. 80 points is never not fun to watch. And so we'll move on to our two Monday night games. Jets at Miami. Miami taking us from 27 to 21. We talked about this last week. We really thought this Miami team didn't have it in them. Yeah, like we talked about, the Jets defense didn't show out. The Jets offense having a couple turnovers, which was surprising to me.
Yeah, the Jets really disappointed me in this game. I thought they would come out and play better and show that they were a better team than their record.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe their record is accurate for what they are.
Yeah, very surprising. They've looked good in every game. This was the first game I thought, they didn't really look that good. And this was, like we've talked about, Miami's getting better and better, but one thing is Tyreek got hurt this week. Can they keep it up without their star player?
Yeah, it's a huge loss for Miami. I mean, they've struggled to throw the ball anyway, and now their best receiver's out. Not just their best receiver, but a premier receiver in the league.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to rely more on
Waddle,
and see what happens here. But, I haven't been high on Miami already, and now with this happening, I'm sorry, Dolphins fans.
Yes, and we'll move on to our next game, Cincinnati at Denver. Denver taking this one 28-3.
Yeah, oof. The Denver defense showed out. Man, what can you say when the team gets beat like this? It's deflating for that team and their fans. And Denver really looked like what we talked about at the beginning of the year. To be a solid defense, and if a quarterback can put it together, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, my first boom or bust I was correct with was the quarterback for Cincinnati having a bust week, and he did against a really good defense. But another bust was the coaching, Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
Teammates are getting frustrated with him. Jamar Chase on the sideline coming up to him and talk to him. They were both obviously frustrated. Another clip I saw was the Cincinnati O-line not playing to their best. Three-player pass rush against a 6-man blocking, and it was within 3 seconds the quarterback was blocked. So you can't even say Jake Browning had a bad game. The offensive line couldn't hold up against 3 rushers.
Yeah, when we talked about it, even in preseason, that this Bengals offensive line was bad. And now Burrow's hurt, and now you're putting that bad offensive line, you're putting a backup quarterback behind there. And, Browning showed glimpses in the first game he came in, but he's really been on his back ever since then. And, would it behoove Cincinnati to go out and try to trade for a good backup quarterback? Maybe Kirk Cousins or
I wouldn't trade anybody right now. I think what they need to do is they just need to get together. Zach Taylor is really the one that needs to get his stuff together. They need to draft an O-lineman on this offseason. And if they don't draft an O-lineman this offseason, Joe Burrow is the one that needs to ask for a trade.
Yeah, I agree. In the meantime, I think Cincinnati needs to max protect. You've got star receivers. You paid a lot of money. Let them go out there and earn that money. Let them guys streak down the field. Let them run crisp routes. Let Browning throw it to them with time, with max protection, and see if they can get open. You paid them a lot of money. This is why you paid them a lot of money.
Yeah, but how much more can you put in? If 6 blockers can't block 3 rushers, even with max protection, you can't do anything.
If you can't do that, then a coaching change needs to happen. Go sign guys off the street if that's the case. They can't do any worse.
Yeah, just some guys with over 300 pounds and over 6'4". That's all you need. That's better than the O-lineman that the Cincinnati Bengals have right now.
Well, in all seriousness, surely there's somebody on somebody's practice squad that can play better than what performance the Bengals are getting right now.
Exactly. And that wraps up week 4. That was our week 4 games this week.
And before we go, we have to do our trivia question for this week. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of backup quarterbacks playing this week, a lot of quarterbacks injured. And so our trivia question is going to relate to that. Can you name me the last 3 teams to win the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback?
3 teams, the backup quarterback who won a Super Bowl. The easy one is, of course, Nick Foles with the Eagles back in 2018 against the Patriots. Nick Foles having a really good game in that one.
That is correct. That was the last team to do it, 2017. Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Foles. They built him a statue.
Yeah, so Philly special.
So that was the last team. Can you name the next 2 teams?
Probably not. I don't know. I actually don't know. So I will go with Chicago.
So in all fairness to you, this happened before you were born. So we're going to leave it to you guys and see if you can answer it. The last three teams to win the Super Bowl, he got the last one in 2017, Nick Foles, Philadelphia Eagles. Can you name the two teams before that? And so that does it for our recap. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys around the bend for our preview for Week 5. Deuces.